YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Something all new, super exciting to us. This is the H650 and it's got protection. Yeah, that's right. This is a watercraft slash seaboat slash airplane and all of the above. We're gonna see if it actually works. We had to glue it together. We'll show you in the Unbox build radio setup at the end of the video, and a folding prop, which is kind of cool. Don't know if it's gonna matter. And yes, they did leave this open so that the water could spray into it. But without further ado, we're gonna fly it. It's gonna be fun. Comes with everything you need to fly except for the AA's that are in my taped lid because it's popped open twice while we've been getting ready to come out here. So without further ado, guys, here we go. We're gonna show you in water, but I think I might hand launch the first time. I'm not 100% sure. What do you think, camera crew?
Maybe just to make sure it actually flies.
All the way up, all the way down, arms it, and there we go. So it's flying, as you can see, doing just fine. It's got a little bit of a stabilizer in there. There is a rudder and ailerons. They are tied physically together. That's right. And China has decided to include an elevator on the throttle input, but supposedly this thing will go 100 kilometers an hour. Let's see what 100 kilometers looks like in the United States. So here is your 100 miles an hour. There is also a button you can hit and press and hold to use thrust reverse, which is the right trigger. And this is supposed to do inverted. Okay, so that didn't do anything. I must not have done it right. You can press the left trigger, which is up here. The left trigger plus, oh, that's kind of an interesting roll. So that's, you know, like we've seen on some of these 400 millimeter warbirds and things like that. So I gotta say, it's not hard to fly. It's just kind of going in a circle. We got a little bit of wind right now. So let's try a loop. So pressing and then pulling back. Don't see anything happening there. So evidently I didn't do it quick enough. Let's try again. Nothing. Okay, so back into the throttle. Now we're gonna press and hold the button. This would be the left button. And just see what we get. Obviously the flight characteristics are a little bit off because of the wind. Oh, there it goes. Nice. So I don't know if it just keeps, if I'm continuing to hold it and then it allows you to rotate. So I'm gonna try this again, pressing and holding. Oh, okay, so I see how that works. If you press the button while you're doing something, here we go, it does the maneuver. So you don't press and then execute the maneuver. You press while pulling the stick to the left or the right. So without further ado, we're gonna go up over the top of these trees, bring it really, actually it glides nicely. Let's land it. Now I'm gonna try again, get a little better landing for the people. Camera crew, you can stay where you are if you want.
Okay.
The wind is coming from our right to left. Just bring this in, slow it down a little bit, see if we can actually land it. Not too bad. It kind of sits at the right angle of attack for floats. Yeah. I am curious about taking off, but let's show them thrust reverse. Pressing and holding. And there it goes. That's how you flood it, guys. And if you do it long enough, it'll suck all the water into the ESC. So I'm gonna try to avoid that. Let's see how it yaws. Very poor yaw authority, almost none, almost non-existent, because it just dips the wing in. Now, reverse thrust, pressing and holding, let's see what happens. Okay, now into the throttle hard. And we'll try taking off, and yes, it did get out of the water, but it kind of a little bit wonkadelic, but yet it did actually do it. Let's see if we can get a decent landing here, guys. Wind is hard from our right to left, just gliding now. There it is. And you can plop it down and it seems to do okay. But let's show the people a vantage point of the controller, okay? So very cheap feeling, but it does work. Nothing without actually giving throttle. So a little bit of throttle. You can actually change and control the angle of attack, but we are weather vaning a little bit. So let's take it and see if we can get off the ground. See, it's wanting to lean into the water to the left. Okay, so let's try again. Ooh, there we go. That's not too bad. So pretty easy to get up in the air. using a little bit of downward elevator because I have to counteract the automatic elevator input from the throttle, which is very annoying and totally unnecessary, but it will help people that are inexperienced pilots. Look at that, beautiful. It actually goes in the water nicely. So guys, here, check out the links, video description below. You can see it's kind of an economical option if you want to get in the air. We'll show you the entire build process, comes with everything you need, including the China glue. Ours, full disclosure, was pre-popped, which is always pretty exciting, you know, like when you get it out of the package and it's already gooped everywhere. 1000 milliamp hour 2S lipos. See if I can do a loop. Pulling back, nothing. Pushing forward, nothing. And there was something that said something of inverted flight. I think they mean you can actually be flying along and then invert it like that.
Oh, wow.
That's what they mean, but it's just kind of like an aileron roll. So there isn't really any way to shut off the normal flight mode, but look at that high alpha. It's actually a really cool high alpha sort of behavior, but only because all the weight is so far back. And if you get into the throttle, it pushes the nose where it needs to be. And it's actually quite easy to fly. Now, I'm curious if I can land behind this camera. You want to come out a couple of steps?
Okay.
We'll just show people what it does on grass ops here. As you can see, you can lay it down in the grass, no problem. So if you don't have access to a pond, which is awesome, then you can just tool around on the ground. And if you want to take off, you just go until it gets off the ground, like that. And then just keep flying, folks. It does take a little bit of room, but even with the crosswind, it is a fly-by suggestion sort of plane. So I'm just sort of, you know, telling it, hey, watch out for that thing there. Camera crew, I'm gonna go on the inside if I can get it. But I don't feel like scared or nervous about it, partly because I don't really care about the plane at all.
Well, I mean, that anti-collision nose is...
That anti-collision nose is definitely really cool, but it's just, you know, like honestly, it's very easy to fly. It's fun. I would put my kids on the sticks and not be nervous about it. Again, probably because it's not like $4,000.
Right.
But at the same time, it's actually quite fun. It looks fast. It's got that jet-like feel to it, but it's definitely not gonna teach you how to fly a conventional plane, a hobby grade sort of experience, if you will.
Right.
But so far on a 1002S, it's doing great. Really a decent amount of flight time so far. I'm just waiting for it to let me down, but then every time I keep doing these landings, it's actually a pretty sweet landing. So guys, we've done this before. We've had some El Cheapo planes that fly on the water, and I think, well, this is gonna be a joke. And then they turn out to just be kind of fun. So if you're looking for something you can do, some family fun, let's go ahead and fly some more while we talk. Look no further than whatever the heck this thing is, the H650, which obviously you all know what the H650 is because we've now showed you, but why would you know what that is? Pressing and holding this button, this also momentary press button of this will actually turn the lights on and off. It's kind of weird though, it's like it doesn't do it right now. There, now it did it. And then once I let go, it kind of like keeps going for a second. So just be really careful with the button here. You don't want that to stick on and get cut, okay? So let's see if we can taxi it around a little bit. The weather veining is not as bad right now because the wind is just calmed down just a hair. It's kind of like a little bit breezy. It does actually navigate the water reasonably well. Let's see if we can take back off. Hard on the throttle, use a little bit of roll. There we go. Just kind of countering the wing tip because it's leaning to the left as we give throttle. It could be a little bit of a P factor thing because that prop is definitely on there square. It's not pointed down and to the right. But I mean, it's actually fun to fly. A little touch and go there for you. You know, and guys, we make no mistake. Make no mistake. We understand that some of these cheaper planes are gonna be a different flying experience, but I gotta say, this has been really fun. It wasn't a hard build. It wasn't really like anything to write home about in that regard, but it's actually pretty fun to fly and it looks good doing it actually. It's not too bad. Even the limp nose is not too bad. I mean, when you fly towards yourself, you just kind of gotta, you know, say a prayer and hope it doesn't hit you with the collision avoidance nose cone. Let's see if I can get it here. Don't jump off the dock,
I
camera
won't.
crew.
I feel it. Turn around.
I just can't believe how well it actually does just kind of gliding. Ooh, don't get in the tree though, Brian. It's weird. Like it's got this auto leveling system that kind of works. Like, I don't know how it's doing such a good job. It shouldn't be, because I'm not working hard at it at all. It's like I'm almost kind of doing it haphazardly, hoping that there would be some giant like screw up because it would be fun to watch. But then it just keeps flying reasonably well. So guys, here on Brian Phillips RC, we try to give you the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God, so that when you follow the links and buy these planes and you have to bring them into your own possession, you're not gonna have a bad experience, or at least you're gonna know how bad of an experience you're gonna have. Because at the end of the day, I like cutting the grass with my planes. And we do like to tell the full truth so that you guys can make good decisions. You know, not everybody is gonna get these things sent from the China land for free. And so we want you guys to understand that when you come here to Brian Phillips RC, we're gonna tell you what you need to know so you can make a good value judgment, because this is actually fun to fly. I am super taken back. I thought it was gonna be a huge embarrassing failure and it'd be fun to watch the failure. But here it is. We've been proven wrong once again on Brian Phillips RC by some cheap, crappy Chinese thing that actually has thrust reverse that might kind of work sometimes. I'm just thinking if you did that long enough, it would just dip that ESC right into the ground. But it actually looks pretty incredibly good taking off too. And folks, this is not a big pond, by the way. It's about 8/10 of an acre. And just plopping it down, it just does really nice.
Yeah.
Like it's got really kind of like no terribly bad behaviors. I thought for sure. Oh, and then you probably can't tell right now because it's so bright, but there is a string of fairy lights that go out either wing. Now, big drawback to the string of fairy lights, you have to install them yourself, but we'll show you the entire process in our Unbox build radio setup, which is coming right after the flight here. But real quick, while we're just kind of being blown by the wind, I'll show you this. This is a battery we got JST equipped. Hextronics balance lead. It does come with a charger. Let me go ahead and taxi out just a little bit. Really easy to taxi. Get a little algae there. Okay, just a little bit of roll to the right just to kind of get the speed up. And once you're in the air, you're pretty much good to go. It's not hard to fly. You do have to give it a little bit of forward on the sticks to get it to fly level. But it's like, it's windy out here. I didn't think it would do half as good as it's done. Oh, that must be low voltage. Yep. That must be low voltage. You see it flashing, folks?
Oh yeah, I do.
It's hard to tell on the video, I bet, but we can definitely see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can taxi it over, and it's gonna try to weather vane, so I may have to do this creatively. Let's see if it'll thrust reverse. And yes, there is aileron throws still, and you have to wait a second to get out of thrust reverse, okay? So I'm gonna see if I can just get it over to the shore. That's one of the biggest problems with Brian Phillips RC is I tend to fly things until the batteries are totally dead. Well, when you have a float equipped plane, that doesn't always work well, because now here it is in the middle of the water, but you can see the waves coming toward us and it should eventually get it here. But I can also use the thrust reverse if I want. I just have to press and hold it for a minute. You see, it's just, you've got limited control because the rudder in the back, which is actually a water rudder right now, I just can't believe that's not filling up with water.
I know. Well, maybe it is, and we just don't know it yet.
Yeah, we just don't know it yet. Okay, true. So let's see if we can bring it back a little further. That is incredibly, strangely successful. And I can't believe it actually does seem to work. And it's gonna die. You can hear it getting ready to die. Oh, get all that algae. Yeah, do it. Oh, there's a fish under there. Did you see the fish?
We found a new collection method.
Yeah, that's a good way to do
collection.
it. So guys, here on Brian Phillips RC, we always try to show you the full truth, nothing but the truth. So help us God.
Yeah,
look at all the fish under there. You see them?
Yeah, tons of them.
There's tons of them. They're like, hey, look, it's a new friend. They are quite curious about this thing. And I gotta say, it's a little gross having all this algae in the water, But now you know how it is. Look at all these fish. This is so cool. Oh, there's a dead fish right there.
Oh,
nasty.
Sorry, buddy.
That's okay.
Or is it like a dragonfly?
No, it looks like a fish to me.
There's tons of them right under there.
I know, there is. Do you want me to hold it closer?
Well, you can try. I can see them, I think.
You guys see them all? There's like just tons and tons and tons of them. It's so cool. So I swear when we first put down, I gave the camera crew the wrong thing.
Oh, I didn't know why you're giving me that, but that's okay.
So at the end of the day, I'm just kind of amazed. I'm just gonna dip this into the cleaner water and just rinse it off. There was this one reed that kind of stuck in there, probably when we did our belly landing. And we did add some paint on here, or excuse me, not paint, but tape over the glued joints. But really at the end of the day, if it was full of water, then you would think that this would be dumping out, but it must not be getting that far into the water. And mostly because it's so buoyant. Really super fun. Let's show the people where the battery is real quick. In fact, do you want to try it?
No.
Look, little teeny tiny bit of water.
That's not bad though.
Hardly any. No, I mean, I'm serious, like you can do it.
No.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't want to get a plane out of a tree.
Oh, no, it won't be that. It's really not that hard. So here's the spent battery. And here's the one the camera crew is going to use.
Oh, great.
She's super annoyed right now. It's awesome. So I'm going to plug this in. We'll show you the whole process. And you hear like all sorts of R2-D2 noises. And then this thing reaches in and holds the battery in position. And full disclosure, make sure that snaps all the way in, okay? So then the other trick of the day, make sure when you move this, see, look at this. The rudder is physically attached to the aileron servo. What the heck were they thinking? And yet it works, okay? So real quick, all the way up on throttle, all the way down on throttle, and then we'll just check it. Yep, it is working, okay? So this is one really cool and strange feature. See, a folding prop. Why the heck do we have a folding prop on here?
No idea.
So that they can package it with a prop installed. I think that's literally it.
That's it?
Yeah, seriously. That's crazy, isn't it? And I love the folding prop. I wish we had folding props for other planes. But anyway, let's watch it. I'm gonna spin it out. Very good. And it comes out by centripetal force. So it's like, it balances itself. It's really nice. Any of those imperfections are gonna get taken care of by that spinning prop. So now the next move is camera crew's turn.
You're gonna at least take off, and you know I'm gonna crash, right?
I don't care if you crash. It'll be fine. I mean, our son might be kind of annoyed. So hold on, I'm just gonna show you how I would suggest putting it in the water, just like that, okay? Then I'm gonna literally hand this to the camera crew.
Oh, you take off.
Why?
Take off and then hand it to
Oh
me.
no, it's like literally super easy.
It did not look easy.
Oh, it was easy. I'll help you along the way. Okay, you ready?
I don't like you.
Okay. She's mad. It's okay. You ready?
Do I have my mic on?
So,
okay.
Yep. So she's gonna start. Just full throttle and pull back a little bit. There you go. Good job. See, she's flying. And just kind of go in a circle. Good job. And just relax it until it's in that position. And just keep with the throttle where you want it. Maybe push the nose down just a little bit. And it'll just kind of hold in that position. Push the nose down just a little bit. And push your nose down just a little bit. Get out of the throttle a little.
Pushing like all the way down.
Yeah. Push it down more. There you go. Good job. And then I want to see if she can land it. Just turn it around and point it at the water. Chop the throttle. Just point it in the water. Point it down. Point it down.
Yeah, super close to the edge.
Not quite as beautiful. Okay, so now she's gonna press the button and she's gonna get thrust reversed. I'm trying to show both at the same time.
Oh, there it goes. Oh,
got it?
that is weird.
Yeah.
But okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now just for grins, because you know, people, I'm a bad camera crew, let's just say.
You are a terrible
Okay, so camera crew is gonna film. I'm gonna film the camera crew flying. You ready? Oh, good job.
Okay, but it's not turning.
Here, I'll show you the trick. Let me show you the trick and you can film me.
I don't want to get over into the reeds.
No, I know. I don't want to be in the reeds either. Okay, so the camera crew is taking. So watch this. Press and hold. And then use this. See? Just like that. Once you get pulled back, and it's just annoying because you have to wait so long for it to kick in.
When I was drifting.
Yep. And then once you're back a little bit, go forward. Get it into ground effect. Woo! Let's see if it'll get us out of the reeds. Okay, once it's back, and it just takes a while. Like we're used to these responsive, big, expensive planes.
Yeah.
And don't worry, it's just a self-induced oscillation, so no big deal. And then just back it off, and you can taxi it away from the edge. It actually taxis reasonably well, even though it's getting weather vaned a little bit. Let's see if we can take off with the wind. Jank it up. Nope, not enough. Go across the wake. Oh yeah, we're in the air, yeah baby.
See, that's what I was worried about, that I was gonna get too close to the edge and then not have enough room.
Well, I think you pulled a little bit of water into the back.
Maybe, because it's a little sun.
You hear that noise?
Yeah.
So now that I am emptying it out of water, I'm just gliding along, watching out for the cherry. Guys, if you haven't figured out, we just built this pond and we are getting used to it ourselves. So if you see us and it seems like maybe, hey, we could take a better line, I have been practicing with the Catalina that we recently reviewed for Hobby King, and it's been an almost every other night or every night kind of experience. And it's been super fun. I'm getting used to it, but there again, here it is windy and it's pushing right across the pond. So I have to learn how to deal with it, just like you might if you are an inexperienced pilot. So just remember, flying planes is a hard skill that can be hard fought, but once you get it, it is so gratifying. It is one of the funnest things you can do. I wanted to see if it would let me flip over. Did you see that bird?
Yeah.
And you can do some crazy stuff with this. It does like high alpha slides, and it's not really probably supposed to do that, but it's like even up and full down. See, it limits your bank angles to try to keep you out of trouble. So that's why the camera crew can do it, because camera crew is really not much of a pilot, right?
Nope, not at all.
She practices sometimes on a simulator because she thinks I'll love her more.
It's not working.
There it is. That is so much fun. Guys, it's really fun. It does a good job for what it is. It's entry level. It's inexpensive. It's gonna give you enough to get in the air, less your 4 AA batteries. And do be careful, this does pop off. If it pops off and you put your batteries back in quick and get it hooked back up, it should get back in full control, okay? But you may have to rearm your controller depending on what condition you're in when it disconnects. So just be aware, we're gonna take back off here. Full throttle, there it is. Get it in the air. Don't worry about the jank and wank when it first comes out of the water. That's just part of it. Sometimes you get a little water that gets held. You can see that shadow there to give you an idea of how far up we are. And then if you guys don't know anything about Brian Phillips RC, this is what we do. We unbox them, we build them, we set them up on the radio system, and we show you exactly how to enjoy this amazing sport. And then right behind me on the count of now is where the damn gift shop's gonna be, which is right across the street from the damn runway. The damn runway might be better explained because it is a dam that it rides on top of. Pretty cool, huh? That's one of the many extravagant and awesome things that we're gonna do on our property because I love RC. Now, you don't have to love RC that much to love a little fun airplane like this. But I will tell you this, if you ever have an opportunity and you can figure out a way to get the means to do it, we have loved every second of our experience out here in the country.
Every second?
Every second. That goes against our telling the full truth.
Yeah, I was going to say,
God.
we have different seconds then.
I was trying to see if I could high alpha this as you corrected me. I gotta say, it's super fun. And like, honestly, park flyer-esque. You know, the only thing we didn't do in our Unbox build radio setup?
What?
We didn't measure how heavy it was.
We did not.
And I honestly am not sure.
I'm not either.
Probably close to the edge.
Probably.
Did you guys like that?
Splash and go?
That was the splash and go. I didn't hit on purpose, but I did kind of want to do another touch and go. Let's try another touch and go. It's got a good amount of flight time for a little 1,000
It really
2S.
does, especially if you get it with 2 or 3 batteries. Like, you're gonna have a decent amount of time.
And sometimes our brand affiliates will offer these in different sizes. There was a little touch and go, but it was kind of lame on the touch. I didn't touch it very much. And by the way, I am pushing down on the elevator quite a bit to kind of keep it flying level. So if yours is flying more uphill, like it's trying to go to the moon, that is the way it's gonna fly unless you push on the elevator. I wonder if I can trim this, hon.
I think some of the trimmer buttons work.
Look, I can. Yeah, so I trimmed it all the way forward, and there is a mechanical trim on each of the linkages in that you can just bend the rod. Oh yeah, that's actually quite a little bit better. I can keep my thumbs free so I can avoid the trees when I get close. There is a couple of birds over there. See those barn swallows that are tempting me?
Out.
Let's see if I can do a little better landing now. There it is. Plop.
That would explain part of my problem too, because I tend to fly really high and up elevator anyway.
Yeah.
So if it was already trimmed that way.
Let's film this direction.
What? Oh, with the
That's
clouds.
so cool.
I know.
There's storms coming in right now. So guys, here on Brian Phillips RC, we want to tell you the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. And that's the reason we do that is because there is a lot of Chinese garbage out there that's for sale in the retail RC environment, okay? And that's not to say that every once in a while there is a diamond in the rough, and this might be one. So check it out, links in the video description below. We did this little white plane with like 2 motors. I thought it was the most gimmicky, stupid thing ever, and yet it was super fun. Now, is that gonna replace the Catalina we just got, the 1900 millimeter Catalina that cost considerably more, like probably 10 times as much? I mean, shoot, the battery probably costs more than this.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's not going to. Not even close.
Right.
But it doesn't even really make that attempt. This is something I can set up with our youngest son.
Exactly, that's what I was
who's just had a birthday. We should have wrapped it up and given it to him as a birthday present.
Sorry, you can't have your present. We have to unbox it first.
Yeah, we have to unbox it first. But at the end of the day, guys, it is so cool, and we are so excited to be sharing some of these firsts that we're getting to go through here on Brian Phillips RC. So when we dug this pond, we've had a couple of trees we lost because of the water, which is too bad. We've got a few more that are probably gonna get lost, but this whole line of trees was supposed to go. Our excavator would have loved to take them out in 3 minutes, but we wanted to keep them, and we wanted to make this a beautiful environment, but also no trees would have made it easier to fly, but I'm a glutton for punishment. And you already know this, I love flying in tight environments. I grew up in my RC growing up period, which is last 10 years or so. I grew up flying in tight quarters, and I like flying in tight quarters. I like seeing stuff. I like flying between trees and light posts and things like that. And this is the type of plane that you're gonna wanna use in a tight spot, because it's not gonna be like go down to the club where you have a 1/4 mile of clearance, you know? It's gonna be fun, it's your small park, and it's definitely very light. It probably is sub 250, but admittedly, I didn't measure it. So what we're gonna do is we will clip in a clip at the end that says if it was sub 250 right before the Unbox build radio setup so you guys know. And then you make up your own mind, because that is a valuable piece of advice, but there's tons of room inside of there. So if you decide you wanna be illegal and it ends up being more than 250 grams, then you could put in a little remote ID if you're trying to be compliant. But really, to be honest with you, I think the reason people might want to be compliant with something like this is because they want to go to a park and they want to stay out of trouble. If you don't care or you're not worried about the trouble, which would be kind of like our mindset, then don't worry about it. Just do what you're going to do. But just remember, I don't have the authority to give you blessing to do it. And also, with 3 batteries, you've got a pretty stinking good amount of flight time for not much money. And you can bounce and go just like Brian does. And yes, this circuit could be more sophisticated and it could be more exciting, but I gotta say, it's actually really satisfying to fly this circuit with this little plane. And if it were dead calm, I think it'd be even easier to fly it, but we have a pretty good amount of wind. We probably have about a 5 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour gusts, 5 mile an hour steady, 10 mile an hour gusts coming across the pond. And with 100 kilometers an hour speed, which I don't know if I necessarily buy that, I think this thing probably goes 50, 60 miles an hour tops. I could be mistaken, but 50 to 60 miles an hour is about 100 kilometers an hour. So if you get this thing and you're looking for a speed demon and you're really obsessed with how fast airplanes fly, I can tell you this, in real life, that might matter, but on scale, to me, I could care less how fast this thing is. I just wanna know, is it gonna fly nice? Is it gonna look nice? Is it gonna be fun? Is it gonna be controllable? Is it gonna be a real pain in the neck to build? And to be honest, it wasn't that bad.
No.
We did have to glue it together, but it came with the glue. I agree. Oh, that was close to the tree. So guys, if you want to support Brian Phillips RC and all of our RC shenanigans, check out the links in the video description below, and you can see how much you enjoy it yourself. Camera crew is going to stay where she is, and I'm going to try to land it on the grass and just show you guys one more time. If you're trying to line it up for a grass landing, it doesn't take much to land it, because look, all you got to do is just plop it on the ground.
Yeah,
it is
it just
about
stops.
as easy as it gets. And yes, of course you can hand launch it, because I've already shown that you can hand launch it to throw it in the water. So check, check, and double check. This thing meets all the demands of anybody who wants a small black plane with a pneumatic crash guard on the nose.
Here, can we turn the lights on?
Oh yeah. Press the button. Ooh, beautiful. And yes, we'll show exactly how to do that. Oh, we got a little bit more water in there when you were flying.
It was not me.
That was totally you.
Probably.
But honestly, it is really fun. I am blown away by how much fun this little plane was. So you should check it out, guys. We'll show you the unbox build radio setup next. Stay tuned. All right, so sub 250 or not is one question you guys are probably wondering. We just flew this. There could be a couple of drips of water on it, but let's see. Ooh, 260. Okay, so the question becomes, is it close enough to be legal? My answer would be, if you dump enough of the water out of here, I suspect it probably is actually sub 250 or really dang close to it. So if you're careful about the way you actually set this thing up, it's 255, 5 grams of water is not a lot of water. I mean, it is exactly 5 grams of water. But the thing is, I think that this thing is close enough to the mark that most people would be, compliant. The other thing too is the battery that we're using in this plane is a 1000 2S. So if you're in a jurisdiction where you got like massive Karens and you're worried, then you have plenty of room inside of here. Look at that. You could put a huge amount of payload in there.
Yeah.
And you could still get away with dropping in a Ruco or something similar. In fact, let me just show you. It will go in there absolutely no problem.
You also put tape, quite a bit of tape on yours.
I did put tape.
Your
so if you
seams.
guys are worried about it, see, that definitely fits in there, no problem. And the other thing is, truthfully, if you want to be compliant with the factory battery, just pull off the lid, okay?
Or carve out 5 grams of foam from the inside of somewhere.
Well, I would just take this off. But just be careful. You know, if you're worried about the compliance issues, it's not a huge issue for most of us, I realize that. But the truth is, we don't want to just leave a blind eye to this stuff, because some of you guys are in the not very comfortable position of having to deal with idiots when you're flying. And I'm sorry if that's the case. Anyway, so now you know it's not sub 250, but it's really, really dang close. And I believe that one could make this to be sub 250 without too much effort. In fact, this vertical stabilizer is snap-on. How much is that weigh?
Oh, for sure more than 5.
I don't know about all that.
Really?
Which way did it go? Forward?
Yeah.
3.
3.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, it's totally up to you whether or not you choose to worry about that sort of thing or not. But I will tell you this thing was way more fun to fly than I thought. And we don't just say that because we're trying to sell these things. We're saying it because we understand that a lot of people are on a tighter budget, and a lot of people might actually really enjoy this plane. So if you want a water plane and something that will do reverse thrust, something that will do the cool lighting effects, this thing really has a lot of features. Is it a 6-channel plane? Heck no. It might have channels, but they're certainly not control surfaces. I mean, we are literally sharing the ailerons and the rudder. If there were a plane where it'd be nice to have them separated, it'd be this one. Okay, so there's definitely some idiosyncrasies that are weird. I'd be amazed if that servo doesn't fail soon, because that servo gets up under the water, almost certainly. But the weird thing is, the ESC didn't seem to get underwater. So hopefully we answered all your questions in full truth, nothing but the truth. so help us God kind of method here on Brian Phillips RC in such a way that would also help answer whether or not this plane is going to be a good fit for you. And I think honestly, I don't say this often about these cheap kind of like, you know, throwaway style planes. This one is super fun. And we've done a few others that are really light duty, very cheap, and very fun. This thing is so much more fun than you can just go out and have a good old time with it. You don't have to worry about like if you hit something, it's just not gonna get damaged. And if you're looking for a cool, fun experience, get it. But if you want a hobby grade RC experience, I mean, there's a million great float planes. Look, in this room, there's just the ones that are left, there's multiple float planes you could fly. You could fly this on floats, you could fly that on floats, you could fly that on floats, you could fly this one on floats. There's tons of them. And float planes are super fun, but to me, I wanna have a real flying experience if I'm going full on float plane. So like the Catalina, excellent opportunity. Twin Otters, excellent opportunities. Cessna 182, excellent opportunities. But for something that I just wanna throw around, have a good old time, give it to your buddies, and not feel nervous about having a $600 plane to crash,
Yep.
this is gonna do it, okay? So, Unbox next. Thanks guys for watching. We appreciate you being here with us. If you haven't already, smash the like button and click the bell for notifications when you do subscribe so that you can hear about new content that's coming out here on Brian Phillips RC. Stay tuned. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We're gonna start this unbox right now. We've got something new and a little bit different. We're gonna see if it's worthwhile. You guys can make the judge of that. Here on Brian Phillips RC, we unbox them, we set them up, and then we show you what they can do. And this will be no exception, but it is a ready to fly, which might be a little bit unusual. So the setup is a little bit easier for us. And what do we have here? We have a Sea Land Air Raptor H650. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up. This is a 6-channel, 2.4 gigahertz radio controlled airplane / seaplane. So as you can see here, we've got that. It's supposed to be able to go forward and fly upside down, and it'll go 100 kilometers an hour, hypothetically.
Okay.
I guess we'll see if that happens.
Find out.
But anyway, sometimes with these ready to flies, you never know. We're gonna find out. So here it goes, guys. I didn't even have to cut it. Ours is the black versus red.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and there was no tape up here, so that's okay. All right, so first things first, you can see the radio is kind of in the end of the box, so I'm gonna be careful the way I pull this out. I do not know if it's gonna all plop out separately. Oh, it looks like it's all together. Okay. All right, great. So we got this thing with a few different batteries, and we're gonna see how it flies on the pond, which is pretty exciting. Now, if you don't have access to a pond, you should be able to fly it from grass, so long as it's not too rough and tall. Okay, so we've got batteries here. Looks like we have a JST connector with the Hextronics balance lead 2S, 1000 milliamp hours, so 7.4 volts, 35 seat packs, so good seat rating. And it looks like we have a total of 3. And what the heck is that?
Shark fin?
Protection.
And, oh.
Yes. It's kind of a
interesting,
strange shape, but we'll see how that works. But if you could just read the people all the parts there in Chinese. Yeah.
I was gonna make something up, but I don't
so what we're going to do is we're gonna start by getting the charger out before we continue, and that's because we wanna get this thing charged. So let's just show you what's in the bag real quick. Obviously we've got 2 batteries here, and then we've got the third, and a spare prop. Now this is a unique folding prop, which is pretty cool, and it's got some sort of a hex sort of drive, or like 3 points it looks like. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's cool. It's got a lot of resistance on the blade, so I'm not sure how that's gonna work. But you can see right here with the brushless motor, it says 3000 kV, very light magnet force, I can tell because it spins super easy, and the centripetal force is gonna pull these things out. Definitely do not like the Chinese lingo on the side. I feel like I'm in some sort of a parade.
Kind of crappy looking.
They're crappy looking. So 4835, so that speaks to 48 millimeters, 35 millimeters of pitch. So we'll see how that works. I mean, it's not like you're gonna put something different on there. Oh, and it looks like my China glue got started before me.
Ooh.
And looks like it finished the job pretty good. I do not know what that is, but I'm sure we'll find out shortly. This might be what we use to stick the two halves together. And then of course we've got a charger. This is China glue, guys. I don't know if you already hadn't connected the dots. Of course, we've got another battery. The China glue is holding my screwdriver, which is kind of nice. We've never had a China glue pop like that. But I guess we'll share our real experience here on Brian Phillips RC. That's what we do. We show the entire process, start to finish, and then you guys can be the judge of whether or not you think it's worthwhile. This has a little hex drive on the end, but it's just designed as a screwdriver for people with unusually small hands. So anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna undo this cable right now, and we're gonna get the charger going. Of course, you have to provide your own USB-A plug. And then they have this printed in English, it looks like. USB charger, input 5 volts at 1 to 2 amps, and the output is 4.2 volts times 2 at 1.3 amps. I'll believe it when I see it. So we'll start one on this charger, we'll start one on the smart charger, and show you how we would do that if we have a more sophisticated, more robust charger. But the thing I like about these batteries is that they use a fairly conventional plug, so it's not like you've got some proprietary plug that's going to make the batteries only useful for this particular aircraft. Okay, so first things first, we're going to grab this thing, the Ruco 65 watt adapter. It's got USB-A, USB-C, and USB-C, which to me is kind of annoying because we have very few USB-C charging apparatuses, but we do have a few of them. So we're going to straighten the cable. It's not super long. It's got the balance lead here, which will charge the Hextronics balance lead. And right here, we've got the USB-A. We'll go ahead and plug that in. We've got a flashing red light. And then before we even get started, we'll grab our XBC battery checker, which is going to, or XBC checker, and we'll check what this battery is before we plug it in. Okay, so it looks like we're at 66% or 3.9 volts DC, so it's a little bit higher than storage voltage. Storage voltage per cell would be about 3.8 volts. Okay, so that's plugged in, and then of course goes to a solid light. The thing that's really annoying to me in charger world is that we have 4 trillion different Chinese offerings. One of them will flash, one of them will not. One of them will be green when it's charged, and one of them will be red when it's charged. You just really don't know. So the only thing you can do is plug it in and see how it works out. So let's check the other batteries real quick and just see how they come out of the box. Looks like 67% or 3.935 volts per cell. And then if you guys are brand new to the hobby and you don't understand what we're talking about per cell, there's 2 cells that are in series, so that 3.942 volts goes in series. So if you look at these 3 wires, this is called a balance lead. Okay, so we use this to charge this cell, and we use this to charge that cell, and then those cells are in series underneath this tape. If you were to cut that open, you would see where they are in series. And so this is connected to that, and that is connected to that. The same would be true on a much larger battery, and I'm gonna get one like this. Here's a 6S 7000 milliamp hour. This, of course, being a 1000, so 1/7 the size in terms of capacity. 2 cells, this has 6 cells, also has an adaptive balance charging or battery management system here. And this has a balance lead. So this big, huge, in this case, orange lead is in parallel to this. And the first of many leads, this is 6 cells, so it has 7 wires, would be in parallel to this giant lead. This is called the discharge lead. This is called the balance lead. Now on smart packs, as I mentioned, there's a battery management system or a smart chip, and I have stripped one out of a battery. So if you wonder what the heck it is I'm talking about, this is kind of ripped out of a 4S battery. So you can see, excuse me, a 3S battery. So there's 4 wires, same exact scenario. And this is where the things kind of wire up together. So if you know anything about electronics, obviously I know about electronics, or I wouldn't be doing this. And that's how that works. So as you get started in the hobby, here on Brian Phillips RC, we like to teach you how to use other equipment to do your charging. So not just the one that comes with the ready to fly, or an RTF, ready to fly, versus BNF, bind and fly, versus PNF or PNP, which would be plug and fly or plug and play. Sometimes they use them interchangeably on cars and trucks and SUVs and different radio controlled devices. But anyway, the point is those different finish levels are going to come with either everything you need as a ready to fly, or if it's a bind and fly, it might be like that big yellow plane in the background. That'd be the Carbon ZT-28. That one is a bind and fly, so we just have to set it up with our Spectrum receiver in that case, transmitter rather. And in this case, it comes with its own transmitter and receiver, as well as batteries and charger, but you have to provide your own wall adapter, okay? So we'll teach you what those finish levels mean to you. And if you wanna come around here and just check out what the charger looks like, obviously this is a smart charger, so you can't plug in any of these leads because they have, you know, two different sizes. These are called the EC3. That's called an EC5. So this is an EC3. This is an EC5. As you can see, there's many of them. Okay, so we'll plug in this little adapter that takes from an EC3 to a JST. So you can see they'll plug in together. The polarity is almost always the same. Every once in a blue moon, we'll see some weird Chinese stuff where it's switched. And I can just plug that in and it populates the screen with a 7.9. So we can tell it's actually getting data. And then we can plug this in. Now data is being collected from the leads, not from a smart plug or a smart wire like this on a battery that has a smart setup. This one, of course, just out of example, does not have a balance lead, okay? This one does. So we're gonna see what the voltages are. We'll press and start. Now this last time I charged, because it's not a smart battery, it was set to the previous battery's voltage or current range, so it was 5. So I'm gonna click on that and scroll that down until we get to 1 amp. 1.0, that would be a 1C charge rate, and then I can go down to start, and it's already set to a LiPo, so it's ready to rock and roll. And now it's gonna populate the screen with how much current is going into the pack, and it's gonna count up the milliamp hours of current that were forced into the battery. Now, you can also press the down arrow, and you can see what the voltage is, and you can press down and see the internal resistance of the pack, okay? So of course, all of this is sort of nonsense to those of you that don't know anything about batteries, and most of you that are buying a ready-to-fly float plane are probably not gonna be super concerned with it, unless of course you're brand new to the hobby and you wanna learn. So you're in the right place here on Brian Phillips RC. We will teach you. Okay, now secondarily, we have another battery, and I'm just gonna show you that you can charge them on either of these apparatuses. So of course we wanna show that. This will work fine, but it's gonna take a little bit longer. This one I'm gonna set up to charge a little bit faster. Since this is a 35C pack, that's usually kind of like how fast it can charge or discharge. In my case, I'm most concerned about charging it because we're charging it, and not so much how fast it would discharge, meaning how fast we would consume the battery power in the airplane. So of course that's all been designed in by the engineering, but we can set the charger as fast as we want. So I'm gonna plug that in, and I'm gonna plug this in. This is incidentally an S2200 is what it's called. We have links to all this stuff in our video descriptions. Now I'm gonna see how it says channel 2. I'll go up to 5, and I'm gonna change this down to 2 amps or 2.0. There's 2.0, and we're gonna charge that at approximately 2C. Now, because this is 3.5C, or 1/10 of 35 would typically be about 3.5C, you go a little bit faster on this pack, but I'm gonna just be safe and do it with 2 amp charge rate, okay? So we'll just press that for a second. It took a second to start. And you can see it's working. Now, if I want to see what's going on with the other battery, I just press the other button. This is 1 bump, 2 bumps, a little hard to see on camera. And that's going to tell you where your voltages are. You can also see a percentage basis up here that is articulated so that you understand between the fully discharged state and the fully charged state is way up here on the scale, because 0 volts is not something we do with LiPos. We start at about 3.2, 3.3 and go up to about 4.2. 4.2 and beyond, it starts getting dangerous, and anything below that, 3 point something in the low 3s, will not be chargeable on certain chargers. And so that's why we don't discharge the batteries too far. Also, the way that you discharge a LiPo, say this is 100% charge, it drops off like this and then falls quickly. So if you were to get into the lower range, you get it outside of the stable chemistry. And so that's why that happens. That's a lithium polymer pack, not to be confused with a lithium ion pack, which are both based in lithium, but they are different physical construction, okay? So batteries are one of our safety issues in RC. So if you're concerned about safety, keep a close eye and ear on your chargers in case something goes wrong. One other thing that's a little bit unusual on this model is the broken glue. We, like I said, almost never see that, but I'm actually not super worried about it. I'm just gonna try to peel it off. This is China glue, so you can kind of see how that works. We use China glue all the time on this channel, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to salvage the tube of glue. I don't really care about the instructions. I'm sure they're garbage. It just says how to put it together, but I do need this glue to build it. Now, fortunately for us, because we run an RC YouTube channel, we have lots of glue. And this one just popped down at the bottom, okay? As you can see, I have other tubes of it. We get this stuff from FMS, which is a competitive offering, and you can order it when you're ordering FMS stuff, or if you're ordering Horizon stuff, you can order this on horizonhobby.com. Foam to foam is super similar, but it tends to be a little bit more clear and a little bit less tacky off the bat. But the idea is it's contact cement is what it's like. If you've ever used as a kid, rubber cement, that's what you remember as a kid. That's kind of like what you're dealing with here, okay? They call it, it's a mucilage based product, and mucilage is like a product that's like a tree bark based, I don't know. What the heck is going on with those?
It's Christmas lights.
Yeah, so we have a skid plate here, which is pretty sweet. Okay, ready to receive the nose cone. And then of course up on top, we've got the batteries. So this is gonna be kind of an interesting build because we have to slide those in to the wings. I'm not sure exactly how that's gonna work. Looks like we're gonna have to slide it through these strips. What in the heck? That is so weird. And then we've got what looks like the continuation of the vertical stabilizer. And you can see what that China glue does once it dries. It kind of balls up like this. So if you ever see that and you want to peel it out of there, you can use your fingers to grab it. But usually what I like to do is I will grab a pair of forceps, which is a tool that we use, also known as hemostats. I believe hemostats in the surgical field would be used to, more to stop, to pinch off blood flowing from veins and arteries and stuff like that. But these are forceps hemostats. Okay, so bent tip, straight tip. And you can get them where they hinge further out, and a lot of fishermen use them to pull the hook out of the mouth of a fish. In my case, I use them for all sorts of crazy stuff where I need to get into a tight spot, and then I can clamp it and then spin them, and it'll pull that right out of there super easy without damaging the plane. So it's really nice, but we use these a lot of times on wiring too, because they are a super, super handy tool. If you guys are looking for tools like that, check out brianphillipsrc.com, and you can click on the tab that says supplies, or you can also go to bprc.me, and you can go there. It'll take you the same place, a little easier to remember. And then you can check out the supplies tab. We have links to all these supplies we talk about on a pretty routine basis here. Now, also, this is a quick release wing, but I just noticed there's some schmutz in there, AKA China glue, right there. See that? That's not supposed to be there. I'm just gonna peel that out. And if you guys enjoy the content you're liking on this channel, make sure you smash the like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm in terms of recommendations for other people that might be interested in the same thing. And it looks like we had this carbon fiber rod. I can tell it's carbon fiber, but just listen, because it dings. It's got a high pitch noise. It's also very light, very strong this way, but not super strong this way. It will flex a little bit because the fibers are allowed to move. But then the resin that's in there makes it really strong in tensile strength, okay? So like the pulling force. Think rebar and concrete, okay? So now box is empty, so we'll set that aside. If you could just read that to us.
XiaXiu, they use some vowels. H6.
Okay, so this is not a spring-loaded throttle, and there is no yaw authority. And then this is elevator and aileron, okay? So we have a power on off, feels very cheap and crappy. We've got foam all over the place. They didn't even put in the safety screw. No. Good for you guys, China. China, we're finally getting through to you. Thank you.
We don't care about your screw.
Yeah, they were like, normally they're like, screw you, Brian. And I'm like, okay. But they were like, no soup for you. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up this battery tray. It's pretty obvious there's a battery tray in here. Ooh, there's a QR code. I would definitely not scan that
Okay,
thing.
we'll keep that over here.
Okay, and then look, there's a singular antenna that goes into that opening. I don't quite understand the rationalization there. Looks like we have an electronic speed controller down there and probably the receiver board, all that stuff built in. And no touching! No touching! So if the propeller's shaking, don't come touching, I guess. Sorry, that didn't work.
This is not right, no.
All right, so these lights are gonna clearly go here. They have these fairy lights installed, which I think is actually quite cool. It does not look like those leads are gonna stay apart from one another though. Look at that. I'm gonna actually just pull those apart so it doesn't dead short, like in the water, for instance. We might taste some fish when we do this.
Great. They'll start floating to the surface.
But yeah, you see, it's like, what the heck were they thinking? This is so janky. But whatever, I guess I'll separate the leads. I don't know if you guys see what I'm doing here. I'm just taking that positive and negative lead and just separating them. These are called motor winding wires. So they're very, very small wires and they're coated in like, almost like an epoxy. Okay, and then this looks like, obviously we have some ailerons here. Not sure exactly how that's gonna work. Oh yeah, it's gonna go into here. And you can see there's a linkage that goes back to a singular mounted, very light duty servo. I have a hard time believing that's gonna hold up, but I've been wrong that one time, you remember?
I do, I remember distinctly this morning.
Thank you for making my point for me. Okay, so what we have to do now is we have to somehow assemble this, and our instructions had a little bit of a splooge accident on them. Whoops, but that's okay, thanks China. We'll open this up here, and looks like we've got lots of different things here.
Oh, look, these are strengthening stickers.
Strengthening.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
Install the vertical tail
Oh,
support.
silicone head, hon.
Oh, support rod,
Look,
nose, and
just
light strips
show 'em
with
the head.
glue.
Silicone head, guys. So this one.
You're supposed to glue your head on.
Okay. Do you want to help me slather the
Sure.
China
I don't
glue on
know.
there?
You got a little excited ahead of time.
Well, just here's what I'm thinking about.
It's the
what
collision head.
Okay, all right, great. So what we have to do is, first of all, this could be all cured in here, but if it is, we'll just assume it's a fluke, because you know nobody's ever blown their load prematurely around here. I promise you. All right, well, especially not since we're old. How exactly is this gonna work anyway? I gotta like, I gotta wriggle the limp noodle through the leading edge of the wing. This is gonna be terrible.
You already put on the wing, or the vertical tail.
The vertical tail.
We need the support rod and then light strips with glue. Apply glue to fix the wings and vertical tail separately.
Is this rod? Oh, this rod goes in here. Like this, look, right there. Yeah, I'm just gonna cram the rod right in there.
That's a
And by the way, I'm hitting my wires as I cram my rod. Show them me cramming. Get a close up of the cramming there of the rod. You see that? I'm literally hitting the wires.
Oh, I see. Are you sure it's the right hole then?
I assume I'm sticking it in the right hole because there's only one hole that seems to be accessible.
Yeah.
I mean, did I misunderstand something?
No.
Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna, I'm literally trying to get this rod through and those wires keep getting in the way. Hun, look, give them a close-up of my rod.
I can see them moving.
Yeah, but I want them to see the rod, because here's the thing. I'm gonna have to cheat. I'm gonna have to move the wires, because those are obviously going to the brushless motor. So they're gonna go up this column and then through. You don't have to do that part, but you do have to make, I made a path, okay? Yeah, that's good penetration.
Okay.
Oh, dang it. Oh, shoot, son of a biscuit. Oh, dang it. Oh, I was trying to just, didn't want to accidentally.
Oh, there's just black foam,
oh no, shucks again. Son of a biscuit. Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it. That ugly sticker just fell off.
Look, and it turned into the Sealand Air Raptor.
Pap smear? What?
Not what I said.
What is this thing? Dang, hold on, let's take a under closer inspection. Oh, it does say Raptor. Raptor. Okay, just gonna take care of that.
Good
right
job.
there. Okay.
Much better.
Okay. All right, a little extra splooge mess there. Okay, all right, good. So as you can see, we have an airplane kind of thing. Okay. All right, now we could slather this nose cone on here, but I think I think really what we should do is we should practice and do a dry fit, okay?
Okay.
Goodies that we gotta pull out there. This may or may not go on. You know, usually she helps me with this step. So, oh my goodness, that is very awkward. Yeah.
Is that really how it's supposed to go?
There's kind of like a memory point on it, and I'm trying to figure out if I can spin it to where there's kind of like a bump. I'm feeling if the bump will fall into a detent here, maybe. Yeah, it did. So then, if this comes up, like, come here, let's do a simulation. So like if it comes up to you and it's like, boom, like that, or, hold on, did you hear?
I did.
Did you hear? I don't know if I'm,
you have to put the nose on it.
What do you think is gonna happen? This is a boat that's gonna be on the water.
Yeah.
What do you think is gonna happen to this dog chew toy? We should put one of those squeakers in there.
That would be hilarious.
Okay, so I am not gluing this on. That would be the stupidest thing you could possibly do.
Okay, but why is that stupid?
Well, what happens to big limp sacks when they go underwater?
They get full of water?
Yeah, and then it makes it incredibly heavy. So no, don't.
Okay.
So
is it gonna pull off when it gets full of water though? And then
maybe.
your tip's gonna sink?
Listen, if it pulls off when it's full and it just, you know, there's just a giant mess everywhere, then I guess that's the risk we're willing to take.
Okie dokie.
I mean, it could be consequences, lasting consequences.
Here, can you take more stickers off?
Oh no!
That QR code?
Son of a gun! I am so disappointed that this. What happened? Oh!
It's one of the crappiest decals ever.
These are terrible. They're really ugly and really, really bad.
If they were on white foam, they probably would not. They probably would still be terrible.
Well, and to be honest with you, if they were on white foam, they would still be. This is kind of a nice foam, like it's squishy.
Yeah.
And it's the type that, you know, you would be like, hey kid, play with this. I'm not going to lose any sleep if you run into the side of the house.
Yeah, our kid has a black, that's like that black foam. That plane's held up good and it doesn't look at me like that.
I just wanted to say this is definitely not pap smear. It's Raptor. What is a Raptor?
It's supposed to be a Raptor. They spelled it wrong.
Holy cow, they did.
That's what oh jeez. Okay, welcome to the show.
That was totally lost on me.
Yes, I could tell.
Well, dang it, this one also came off. It's actually really sticky stickers too. It's kind of annoying. For once, they would have actually been okay. And by the way, guys, I know you were sitting on pins and needles waiting for the model number. This is the H650.
Yes.
Because that's definitely not gonna change in 5 minutes in China.
No.
Okay? So anyway, here on Brian Phillips RC, we show the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God, even if it's a misspelling that is hilarious, like pap smear. Raptor. So,
they have a lot of stickers on this thing.
I just feel like these ones are going to blow off in the wind or something.
Yeah.
What do you think, Cameron?
Probably, definitely.
You think they will? I think that they probably will. Now, I got to admit something. There's something nice about this solid color, okay? Pan over there for a second. Look at that silver beauty.
Yeah.
Obviously in a different echelon of aircraft.
That's painted.
That's painted silver.
Paint off if you did that.
Every time that anything happens, which it's pretty easy to do, water planes tend to have a rough life, okay? I like this foam because it's very dark. It's easy to see that it's gonna hide damage because it's actually, like here, I'm scratching it with my finger backward. I'm not trying to like gouge it.
Right.
But it's not gonna change the color at all. It's not like it's dyed. It's just it's just brack. This is obviously brack. It's black. All right, so continuing along. So we're gonna have to glue this. Hey, what are you doing? Pan over here, camera crew. This needs to get into that hole. And I like genuinely do not know how the heck to do this. It looks like we may have to just push this up. We should kind of push this aside and then stick it in the hole. Like you just slide it off to the side and then you just like stick it in.
Well, I mean.
And then there's little channel here, it looks like. And you just stick it in the ferry light. See, once you start it, God, this is gonna be so awkward. Because look at this, now I gotta flip this thing upside down and I gotta figure out how to glue that. See?
Yeah.
Okay, so does that stick in? No, it's just level. And then this obviously sticks in. This like it's gonna hold on to the, work your surface a few times. That's called a pin change, folks, if you're not aware already. And then this just gets kind of squished in there, okay?
And then you're gonna glue.
And then you have to glue that together, and then you're gonna use a reinforcement.
Strengthening.
But what does that look
sticker.
like? What does it look like?
What do you mean, what does it look like?
Popsicle stick.
Oh, yeah.
It's a strengthening popsicle stick, obviously. So, but you see why I started that first. So now that we know kind of how it goes together, we're gonna have to slather some glue. Do you wanna make any bets on if this works?
I don't know, let's try it.
Should we come prepared?
You're gonna sacrifice a bag for that?
Only because I love you.
Thanks.
I make exceptions once every decade. Don't
You
expect
threw something
it
away the other day.
I know.
I'm so proud of you.
I know.
It was total garbage and should have been thrown away 6 years ago. But you still did.
I did it. Better late than never.
Nah.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw this China glue away. That may not be part of your unbox experience, okay? So I don't wanna disappoint anybody. All right, so listen, so we have to glue anywhere this is gonna touch. So that's why we did a dry fit here. I may have to pull it out. What do you think?
Yeah, but you're gonna have to start it again before you glue, I think.
Whatever,
Okay.
let's pull it out. I pulled it out, everybody. Okay, now look, it's obviously not opened here, but it might be open down here.
Maybe
So
it's self-sealed.
let's give it it will have.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's pretty sealed.
Okay.
Okay. So I should be okay to pierce the end.
It's kind of like,
Just don't go over the edge, camera crew. We've already talked about the Raptor.
okay.
The
Raptor.
Raptor. Not the pap smear. That's a different thing. What is that, hon? Explain it.
I'm not explaining it on camera.
What, Raptor?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you guys see the stringiness? Check this out. Oh, wow, it's like a spider web. It's like a spider web, okay?
I see it.
Do you literally see it?
I do.
Watch this. This is why I like this stuff. Look. Oh, yeah. Wowzers. Okay, watch. You can't do that with CA, people. Well, I mean, you could, but you just end up in the hospital. Okay, so we obviously have glue. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go along the seam where they touch, okay? And we're just gonna slather a little bit. Just get that stuff worked up and just light squeeze, nothing crazy. See, it's nice and clear. And this is China glue, okay? China glue, okay? So you see? Now, if you're so inclined to be super lazy like me and you don't wanna stand up and like go get, say, a Q-tip or something, I am actually gonna slather just a hair on this as well, just to kind of, hold it into this cupping thing. Okay, I can just lay this down. Now, if you're really lazy like me, you can just smear it with your finger. Okay, but fingers, probably not the best choice. You could do better things. I'm gonna get this though, because then I can set that down. Now we're gonna just let that sit, okay? Any Brian Phillips RC video you watch is gonna be longer than anybody else that makes a video about a product, and that's because we do it in live and in person, okay? Well, it's not in person, unless you were here. Then it's
Just only for me.
Only for the camera crew, because she loves it so much. Okay, you guys see what I'm doing? So, once you've got that stuff on there, you can just smear it around. We were talking about smear earlier, weren't we?
We were?
What were we?
I don't know.
See this? Now watch this. Now that stuff's all smeared on, okay? So now I'm gonna smear it on here too. Just gonna smear a little on my rod, okay?
Okay.
Then I'm gonna have to slide my rod right through. And no, that is not a real good design because, it's like, I don't see that being real strong.
You're relying on your strengthening popsicle stick to
Listen.
hold it together.
Don't patronize me, lady. This is obviously technical stuff, okay? You see that? I smeared the hole. Now I'm just gonna smear it down there like that. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, but Brian, you just got that China glue everywhere. You just made a huge mess. No, I didn't. I just wiped it up. See, watch this. You can do that with China glue. You can't do that with CA.
We know.
But now it's like stuck on my finger. Okay. And I'm serious though. You really can, because now it comes right off your skin.
It does.
And there's only minor chances of cancer. So, okay. All right, you ready?
Yep.
So now I'm gonna take and I'm gonna hold this down like this, like that. You see with my middle finger? Boop. I'm gonna hold it down and then I'm gonna cram it in the hole. You just pull it to the side and stick it in, okay, right? Okay. So what do you do?
Pull it to the side, stick it in.
Okie dokie. All right, so there it goes, going in, going in, going in, getting really deep penetration into the moist. Don't get into the moist area because you could get into trouble there. That is where we're gonna stick the two halves together, okay? So watch, oh, see, I did it. Got into the moisture. It's actually kind of not moist. It's like extremely sticky. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna walk this into position so that I don't accidentally trap that, okay? Oop, you can see it's starting to get tacky as all get out. See that plastic trying to push out of the way? This is what you're gonna have. Oh yeah, get firm penetration. Take your finger, push it up into the spot, into the sweet spot. Might have to have somebody help you figure out where that is. Okay, if it's your first time, might be a little more challenging. Okay, so as you can see, now I just need to get a little better penetration with my lights, okay? See, it's not letting me stick it in anymore. It's like no soup for you, Brian. See, I've like run out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm gonna stuff this back into the plane like this, see? Just like that, but I don't wanna bury my light. I don't wanna waste my lights. So I'm gonna stick that down into the channel, just like so, and then the strengthening rod is gonna miss it by millimeters. Millimeters. That was so we didn't have to edit it in the slow motion.
Good, I was definitely gonna do that in slow motion.
I knew you would. Okay, so look at that. Wow. So this channel is definitely not gonna fill with water when we go, and there's definitely not gonna trap that, you know, those leads that are out here on the end that are totally just.
This is a high quality thing. What do you think it's gonna get wet?
It's better last for 10 years, so I'm gonna be pissed.
Do you want a strengthening sticker?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick it right in.
Oh, you already have them over there. Sorry, I thought.
Honey, I'm just going for girth. Here it is, watch. Oh, that's pretty sticky actually. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna stick it on here. This is, wow, whew, it's a lot stronger now. I did a terrible job of strengthening with my strengthening rod. I feel like there's about 400 ways that we could have made that work better, but I'm just gonna tell you right now, take your rod, swiggle it around into the CA, not CA stuff, and to China glue, I should say. And then you can wipe that around if you want, or you can let it dry and then peel it off like we did earlier, okay? So now we have a functional wing. It's definitely looks super strong, really robust, really nice fit there. You see that gap there? That's all part of the plan. And then I'm just gonna go through and wipe up some of the extras, because why do we like China glue?
Because you can do that.
Because I can do that and
all
start
over my
a small
counter.
fire. I'm sorry. I won't start a fire, promise. Now, what'd been nice is if they'd have given us a stupid, crappy, awesome stickers, and we could just stick them along here.
Yeah.
Because truthfully, you know what we're gonna do that's gonna be smart? I'm gonna just do this because I'm a smart feller. Not a fart smeller. Okay, watch. Guys, this is no joking. No joke. I'm just gonna do this. See, look. Now watch this. You guys aren't gonna believe this. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna just slather the China glue on top of it. And you're like, why in the heck are you putting glue on top of there, Brian? You're such a dummy.
Don't get glue in your hinge
on my
back
joint.
there.
I know,
yeah.
I know. Jeez, relax. Relax. Just have to do this one more time. Now, obviously there's another wing, so we're gonna have to do this again. And it'd be nice if I could spin my rod around on both sides, but I don't know if I'm gonna get that flexibility.
Probably not.
Why do you think I did that, camera crew?
Spun your rod around?
Well, that's not what I was talking about, but yeah. Why do you think I did that glue?
Oh, just to make it more
Guys,
secure.
this is aftermarket.
Just to make it more secure on the top.
My stiffening rod was too thin. Or what was it called? Strengthening rod.
Sticker.
It was just a little bit too thin. So check this out, guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold this wing in place, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't hold very good, does it? Actually, it's gonna hold fine. I'm not worried about it ripping off. I just don't want it going like this, like a bird.
Right.
With this like weird tail and like foldable prop that's probably not gonna spin out and or whatever the heck is going on up here, that thing.
It's the anti-collision nose, so you won't crash.
So you're telling me that nose is getting, well, I mean, If I saw that nose, I'd run the other way too. So let's watch this, okay? And you're like, geez, that's a long piece of tape. Okay. All right, so watch what I'm gonna do. Once this is tacked up, okay? And I might be a little premature on my tackiness, dead serious, okay? I'm gonna overlap, okay? Watch this. And you're like, why did you put China glue on there first? I know what you're thinking, Joe Blow from Kokomo. I put China glue on there because the China glue is gonna actually act to strengthen this joint significantly. Okay, then I'm not dependent on this crappy office tape.
You're making your own strengthening sticker.
I should have made it a little bit thicker. That black one was like at least 3 times thicker than this. It's awkward.
You know what they say.
I don't say that. Ready? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put this. Ooh, I'm just gonna go to the other side now. You'll notice that each time I hit a spot where it needs to stop, then I'm, you know, just pressing it into the China glue. I'm still not done. Now you'll notice I've got all this area up here that I don't even need to touch, okay? And that's by design, because I'm not gonna use any of this with those stupid lines on there. I hate it when that happens. And so right here, because it's gonna be, you'll see this. People are gonna walk by and say, what is that thing?
Yeah.
It's hideous. And that's why we took those other stickers off earlier, okay? See? Okay, just put that.
I see, I knew what you were going for.
I was gonna reuse it,
No,
but
you weren't.
I'm trying to make you proud of me.
You're not gonna use the lined part. I know you better than that.
Watch this. Wrap it around, stick it on there. Now that I have given it a chance to set up, booyah! Tape 1, China glue 1, gravity, oceanic, hydro atoms 0. Okay? You'll notice this wing, that could stand up to like really, really
Go visit the Titanic.
big crashes. Okay, let me see this. I'm just gonna put this on. By the way, you could put a battery in there that's about 15 times bigger than what they send.
That battery's gonna like flop around in there.
Well, we may actually, all joking aside, we may actually take and fill some of the void with foam.
Oh.
So that it holds it in position.
Is there a reason they put a hole in the top?
Yeah, mostly so that when the water gets on here, it splatters it into that opening. So it's like water cooled.
Water cooled. Perfect.
It's not supposed to be, but it's gonna be.
Are we gonna make them watch us do this side too?
What, this is like the exact same. No, well, how about this? I'll work on this. Look for highlights, and then
I'll
camera
go get
crew is
some
gonna go get
batteries
some
for
batteries.
this.
We'll come right back. Okay, one of the hardest parts of this build, double A's. Flat goes into the spring, into the spring, into the spring, and into the spring. Okay, so a little bump goes to the solid, the spring goes here. They also have a little drawing, super easy, similar to other electronics you've loaded, and then put the lid back on and power on. Oh, there's a light here. It's got all these super cool markings up, down, that arms it. And of course there's a button here. I don't know that they do anything. Oh, if you guys want the gas strong after a good Mexican dinner, you just put that all the way up.
Okay, we'll
The
leave
gas
that one
leak.
down.
Show them on the box
leave
so
that
they
one
know
down.
what I'm talking about. And then there's buttons that beep on the left and the right, the triggers. Tell them what they do.
The upper trigger on the left is the stunt switch.
What about upper deckers?
Upper left. Okay, roll stunt. Stunt switch plus left turn, so it's like an auto, like all the
all
others
right,
are.
good enough.
The
Get
other
back
one is
over
the
there.
light control.
Come on. So I let this glue sit for a few minutes, and I just want to show you, the best way to do this is let the glue sit for a minute, and we're just going to do this a second time because it is a little bit tricky. See those wires? See that wire here, how it's folded? I folded it back because it's just going to make it easier next to that teardrop of glue or whatever it is. Those fairy lights, they can be a challenge. Sometimes you got to cram it in. That one I had to cram in a little bit worse than the other one, okay? So just get this started, pull it to the side, slide it in. See how I've kind of got it pointed off? Okay. So then once you get it close enough to reach, then deal with the wing and come back to the awesome fairy lights. Okay, so stick this on. You let that glue tack up for a few minutes and it will just, it will just stick in there like really, really fancy. Like a fine Chardonnay. Oh my goodness. See, I let it tack up too long. See, there you go. So you see it? And then once you press it in there, it is kind of amazing how strong that is. Now, like we warned, I'm not gonna be able to probably spin this. So you see I'm a little bit too long on this side, but it's okay. I just pushed it and forced it down in there. And now that it's in there, I can either wait, let that stuff dry and let it clump up and just peel it off, or you can just work with it. Work it, just like that. Push it all together. This is kind of rubbery foam, so like you can actually move it around quite a bit. It's not gonna break easily. And then this little bit of extra that comes out, let's just go ahead and slather that along the seam. And what we're gonna do is, over here you can see off camera, I took one piece of tape and I taped it. This side over here, the glue is sort of drying up, so it should be no problemo, okay? So before we go to the front, you see how it's wanting to walk back? That's what you don't want. You want your strengthening rod in there. But I think it would be wise to push this light all the way in, so push this over to the side, get it all the way out to the tip, and then you can see kind of the same scenario as the other side. We have to double this back just a wee bit, and we're gonna have to slide that into the crack, and then push that down in there, okay? And obviously the exact placement of the lights is fairly indifferent. It doesn't really matter to the aircraft's performance, but I want to be able to tape over it just so it holds in place and get yanked out while we're flying, because this can go 4 million miles an hour or 100 kilometers.
100 kilometers.
So which is like, you know, it's like walking pace. Might be a little bit faster. Actually, I don't know. I've seen these things before. I just don't usually buy into them much. But we're gonna see how this one goes. Maybe it's gonna be one of those where we have been like way surprised with how good some of these like El Cheapo planes were.
Every once in a while.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's not, we have a lot of experience with a lot of really good equipment, but if it's your first plane, we don't want to poo-poo that for anybody. Because really at the end of the day here on Brent Phillips RC, we just want everybody to enjoy the hobby, get into the hobby. Wherever your price point is, we get it. Okay, so just a little bit on my fingertip, and I'm just gonna work this seam here, just get that tacked up. That's just gonna help that glue and the tape to work together, and it's just gonna make it really strong. Okay, don't get it in your joint there, okay? Okay, and I'm just basically gonna go over the top of each of these critical surfaces here. And only because, you know, we've got the glue here, we might as well show people what's gonna give you the best chance at success. And that is gonna tack the crap out of that foam. It is gonna make it so tacky in just a few minutes when we go to put our tape down that it is gonna be incredibly strong, like to the point of you'll barely be able to get the tape off of there. Because this stuff is incredibly strong. It really does work well. Before I cap that off, why don't we flip it over? We'll let that tack up while we do the other side. So we'll just flip it over. And yeah, I am putting that straight on my finger. You could put it on a Q-tip. That's usually what we would do, but since I'm already kind of messy from putting this together, I'm just gonna go ahead and apply it like this. Okay, now kids, if you're watching this video and you don't have your parents' permission to do this yet, get their permission and have them look over your process, because obviously you don't want to get this stuff in your eyes or, you know, eat it or like accidentally brush your teeth with it. It looks a lot like toothpaste. Don't want you to get confused, kids. Safety first. It's one of those somewhere in there toward the top of the list. Now also, we did notice one other thing. You actually cram that battery up front, but we'll get back to that here in just a second. I want to stick the tape down while it's all tacky, okay? When does it get tacky, hun?
Oh, it's been tacky.
Oh, there's that. Okay, so we're just gonna take this and just, whoa, buddy. Wowzers, oh my
So you're gonna tape all the seams on both sides?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Don't you know? Right there. Okay, then I'm gonna press it down, don't you know? Right like that, okay? Now, if you get a little China glue that's being persistent, doesn't wanna come off your fingers, you can take another piece of tape and pull it off sometimes. Now, the other thing is, you can use CA accelerator will break that down, because I'm having a little trouble getting this off. Usually it comes off, but I kind of wait a little bit too long. So I'll show you how I do that here in just a second. Okay, so I want to put this right in front of the seam so that it's like where it needs to be. And I'm just going to press it down, okay? Very good, very nice tacky connection. That, if I would have just taped it, it probably would have stayed. But then once we get it wet from, you know, being in the water and everything, it just doesn't hold up the same way, okay? So I cut that square, and then I was like, okay, well, now that I have it square, I can cut it the right way. Okay, so now that I've got it the right way, I can stick this in here and just cover up my fairy lights. And you see my little fingerprinty thing there? So I'm gonna actually take, and I don't like those fingerprinty things, but it's probably not the end of the world, just wrap it around the front, okay? But I already know I'm gonna be going around the other side with it as well. So it doesn't bother me too much. Okay, so we'll just do about like, I don't know, like this. Okay, just run this here. If you guys are brand new to Brian Phillips RC, thanks for being here with us. Don't forget to smash that like button as you watch the video footage. We make long format content for people because people need help. And if you got some help from this video, smash the like button. It'll help us. If you want to help us in other ways, you can buy the planes and equipment from the links in the video description below, or from brianphillipsrc.com. There's two ways to get there, brianphillipsrc.com, or you can just click on the links in the video description below. There's also bprc.me. That's our short link that basically just makes it a little bit easier to type for you guys. And so as you make the decision to visit, if you don't know how to spell words like Brian or Phillips or RC, then you can do it that way, or .com. This one's .me, like more entertainment.
There you go.
Okay, so here it is. And yes, we did look at different extensions, and that was the one that was available, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of other short links mean other things, like their other country.
Like .gov or .us or .org or stuff like that. You know, they're just different. They already have different acronyms that represent different subsets of the world. And when you start getting into those other subsets, then it's like incredibly expensive to get those. So anyway, in case you were wondering. And by the way, we've been doing this for almost 10 years. Thanks, guys. Sometimes I say 3,000 videos because I saw an analytic once that said something like 3,000 videos. I was wrong. It's like 2,300 videos.
Yeah.
So my apologies. I never mean to misspeak, especially about statistics. If I do, it's because I did it in error and not because I'm trying to mislead anybody. Here on Brian Phillips RC, we do our best to try to be as truthful as possible, because at the end of the day, we want to bring the truth so you guys can make good decisions. And that's a big part of the way we bring you value in the RC arena, because at the end of the day, there's a million people that are willing to lie to you on YouTube, and they will just tell you to buy whatever they're reviewing. Obviously, it behooves us to have you buy this because we're going to make commission on it. But guess what? The amount of commission that we're going to make on this particular plane is like not much.
Right.
But if you were to buy one of those, it would be more. And if you wanted to buy something that's really good, it might actually earn us a few dollars. The truth is, we want you to get what's right for you and not what's right that day to whoever sent us whatever it is we're reviewing. It's like at the end of the day, we really don't care about that. We do care about the manufacturers that we work with and the different partners that we have all around the world, up to and including China, but usually not in China, because we work with American distributors that are selling products that are made in China, Vietnam, the United States, the United Kingdom, Europe, UAE, all over the world. People make this stuff all over the place. Everybody assumes it's all from China. A lot of it is, but not all of it, okay? So, and that's what you're gonna find out with these tariff wars and with the higher tariffs in China. There's gonna be a lot of the manufacturing that's gonna be moving to Vietnam, Indonesia, other Asian countries. It's just the way they're gonna do it. And that's the world for you, because everybody wants to make as much money as they can with the least amount of effort. In our case, we wanna work much harder to make the same amount of money. And the way you can do that is be totally truthful about everything that you've ever done on YouTube, which is what we do. So it's a trade-off, because at the end of the day, we want to bring you guys real value. And so if you enjoyed this video and we helped you to build your plane and hopefully avoid buying a pre-blown up tube of glue, we're going to put this over here for the next model, and we're going to check our batteries, then look no farther than the links in the video description below. This is a really good screwdriver. Remind you
should really keep that.
Use that.
Yes.
Keep it forever.
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is come over here. One of the most annoying features of these S2200 chargers is that when they get done charging and they're balancing, they have to actually consume voltage and power by balancing. And so you have to listen to this incessant cooling fan. See, it stops? That's because it's no longer capable of finishing the charging process, okay? Because it's attempting to balance, and yet it's now disconnected. You'll notice it stopped. I don't know if you can hear that, but I can definitely hear that.
Yes.
So real quick. So it looks like we got to 8.35. Not uncommon, cheap batteries sometimes won't go to full, okay? And that's just the way it goes, 97%. And that's because when you get a charge rate that's higher, sometimes it overshoots a little bit and then it just balances. And the next thing you know, see, look at that, 88%. So I'm just gonna migrate this one right over here and we're just gonna plug it in and finish the charge sequence.
So the provided charger will work. It's just going to be slow.
Yeah, slow. And slow and steady if you're on the Amazing Race, evidently.
Yeah, I don't think that
Every
works
time
in
I
that
hear
one.
that, I'm like, that's what the losers are saying.
Yeah.
So if you're in a race for $1 million, slow and
Just
steady is
go fast.
not right. It's fast and steady.
Yeah.
All right, so we have batteries. Let's talk about where the batteries are gonna go. Obviously, I need to clean all the China glue off of my counter so that I survive today.
Make some bread there and knead it all into the, yeah.
It's kind of crispy. All right, so how does this work? Looks like,
See, look, the battery gets pushed up here in the nose.
oh, so we have to cram it in, okay? All right. So as you can see, here's a plane, okay? Woo, flies.
But anti-collision nose didn't work.
It didn't?
No,
There was still a collision.
collided with the ground.
So real quick, just wanted to point out the fact that I wasn't afraid to do that or this. Can I just for show, can I just throw it at you? She didn't die.
I didn't.
You want to throw it at me to get me back?
Yeah, but I'm not left-handed.
You missed me from 3 feet away?
Here, I'm not left-handed.
Okay, all right. So Brian Phillips, RC, we always throw planes at ourselves. Oh, God. You had to like throw really hard? I'm offended. All right, so as you can see, neither of us died, but that was just short of 100 kilometers an hour.
I think so.
So maybe don't try to hit people with these. But we did want to show that there's some safety features embedded. Instead of wearing a hard hat, they used hard hat materials to make this.
Built in.
Yeah, so the hard hat chases you down. It's like, get over here, get over here. Stick it in. Are they kidding? Like,
It's still gonna flop around.
like, do they really honestly expect that to fit? Were we supposed to put 4 in there?
It looks tighter in the picture.
Well, I mean,
You're telling me the Chinese marketing lied?
I'm not gonna go any further with this commentary.
Okay.
We're gonna let it stop.
All right. Does
So how do you run this thing, camera crew? You turn this on, you put your stick down, so you make sure it's down, that's your throttle. Then you plug this thing in and you support the battery. Wow, look at all these cool, fancy, looks super, like all airplanes have multicolored
rainbow
fairy lights. Obviously, it's not a military action. Oh, look, that thing might hold the battery in.
I was trying to say, and you interrupted my inappropriate commentary.
What? Look, it's got a stabilizer.
I hear it.
Man, those lights are, okay.
At least the lights are in the same order of color pattern on both sides.
Oh, they are. Yeah, that's nice. You see that?
Yeah. It's
Trying to find the quickest route to level.
Yeah.
Okay. All the way up, all the way down.
wow.
Here. Come over here. Look, when I give it throttle, look what happens to the elevator. It's gonna try to automatically lift out of the water. Okay, so amazing. Okay, don't touch the spinning propeller. Resist the temptation, okay? Now, when you're using this, a couple things to keep in mind. When you're flying an airplane, okay, you can use this. We'll roll the plane. So you see it moves the aileron, okay? And you'll notice that this also is quite literally attached to the same servo as the rudder. Makes me want to punch somebody in the face in China right now.
Why did they do that?
I think it was mostly just to annoy Brian Phillips RC.
Okay.
Okay. Then elevator goes up and down. Now that's uniquely separate servos, okay?
That's good.
So we have a 6-channel. There's 6 of them in there somewhere, but they managed to share one for the ailerons and rudder.
And it's like the world's tiniest servo too.
That's what she said, literally. Okay, so I'm gonna just see if we have enough power. Oh yeah. Ooh, wow, I can actually yacht. Look, it's amazing. I was seeing like barely any throttle. I could see this going 100 kilometers an hour. So should I just throw it at you again or throw it across the room?
Why are you throwing it at me again?
Well, just
whatever.
It's head thing. You know the. What do you think?
Okay.
Not a Q, just joking. What's better? The anti-collision device worked. It's like airbags. It's kind of like the helmet. It comes to you. Just be careful, kids. Don't touch the prop while it's spinning. Should we talk about my rubber and how it might pop off?
Oh.
Okay.
It did tell you to glue it.
It did tell you to glue this, okay? Everybody, full disclosure, the reason I've chosen not to is because I am genuinely fearful that if I glue that on there, it's gonna, well, 2 things are gonna happen. One, if it fills with water, it's gonna be incredibly difficult to get the water out.
Isn't it gonna drain out the hole?
I don't know. I think that's just to drain the whole canopy and stuff. But it did a pretty good job of flying straight. Like I thought for sure it was gonna veer off and like run into your chest or something. I'm gonna try again. You ready? Okay, guys, let's see. We don't have much room. Show them the room. Here we go. You ready? 1, 2, 7.
Oh.
Okay, so we've established that it should be okay for, oh, got excited there. See what happened. Did it die? Nope. It's just trying to level the plane. Okay, so we've seen these servos before. They're very light duty and crappy in general, okay? So that's my only fear. Now, there is another couple things we need to finish going over, and that is buttons, okay? So press this button, then pull. Oh, no, that's the lights. So the lights on, lights off. Lights on, lights off. So that's a channel, guys.
Press long for 2 seconds.
Oh, that's reverse.
It's on the light button.
Why would they put that on the light button? Okay, so if you're stuck in reeds or something, you can press and hold for 2 seconds the throttle. And then it just keeps going.
Okay.
Okay, so that was a good one to learn. Kind of dangerous. So momentary push button, press and hold to chop your fingers off. Okay, so that's pretty amazing, okay? Then I'm gonna just hold right here. Then I'm gonna show you, press that. Do you have to press and hold it? Because if you, this says stunt switch. So you press that plus a left turn or right turn, and then fly upside down, stunt switch plus light switch.
Oh, geez.
Okay, all right, so just when you press the buttons, it may fly upside down, the lights might turn on, or
it goes in reverse.
It's gonna go in reverse. So what could possibly go wrong? At least it's got safety features like the head and what was the other thing it was supposed to do? Oh, it's made of a helmet, that's right.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, the H650, it's everything you've ever wanted in RC. Oh man, I so badly I wanna do it.
What?
I can't do it.
What?
You know, my famous reviewer impersonation?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is the best plane you've ever seen. You should get it. I'm from New York, and I know better. All right, here at the end of the day, I'm Brian Phillips RC. We love... Is this gonna blow up?
Maybe.
Do you wanna show, can they hear it?
Probably. Why is it flashing? Is it dead already?
That was the slowest.
Or is it inactivity that's just really fast?
I don't know. Let's try this. I'm just afraid it's going to go into reverse or catch on fire and blow up. Oh, this got shut off.
Oh, when you dropped it.
Because look.
Oh.
The batteries popped out.
Popped your.
Whew. Press those back in. Hey, we learned something new. Okay.
Maybe I should have put that security screw in.
No, I mean, well, I mean, that's a good point. So this is going to be the best plane you've ever had in the history of time, obviously. But if it's not, and you're like, hey, Brian, buddy, old pal, it's maybe not for me. You can check out BrianPhillipsRC.com, and you could see all the different planes that we've reviewed, including that Catalina over there, or that T-28, or the J3 Cub over there, or the F7F, or the Cessna 182 on the ground. But you'll notice that there's hundreds less planes in that living room. That's because I also wanted to keep living. So they're down in the basement for now, and the battery is barely moving, only up and down, just so you know.
Okay.
Never check the center of gravity. The center of gravity would be where this balances. I don't care. I'm just going to fly it as is, because get this, you kind of got to put the battery in the hole, and that's where it goes.
Well, they didn't tell us where the CG is.
Oh, they didn't. There's that
Unless
too.
it was in Chinese.
So at the end of the day, here on Brian Phillips RC, this is a little bit less sophisticated model, but we do more sophisticated models. And yes, we do want you guys to find success, and that's why we show the entire unbox all the way to flying performance. Okay, now this is probably gonna all be in one video, right? Mm-hmm. So when you see us flying this and we're having a good old time, and then you come back and watch our unbox build radio setup and we say foolish things that don't seem to be relevant after we've already flown it, then please forgive us, because we don't have access to the future Brian and Megan. This is filmed in real time and space. So that all being understood, if you have questions, leave them in the comments below. If you want to buy one of these for your very own, you can check out the links in the video description below. But like I said, if there's something else you'd rather see that might be a little bit more advanced or a little bit more refined, check out BrianPhillipsRC.com, and you can sort by type. Like this would be a seaplane, maybe a trainer, something like that, right? And then you can also sort by brand or affiliate that we happen to work with on a given project. So if you don't know what brand or affiliate this is, because it is a model H650 made by some Chinese company, then, it might be E-Flight, it might be FMS, it might be Hobby King, it might be Avios, it might be, Hangar 9, it might be Flex Innovations, it might be whatever. I mean, it just depends. Depends on the model. It might be Blade, Whatever it was, it'll be right there for you. So check it out at your convenience if this isn't your cup of tea. But honestly, some of these quick and dirty models are some of the fun ones that we've done over the years. And some of them are really bad. But that's why we're doing it for you. So you can check it out. And by the way, when you support us by buying from the links in the video description below, you don't just support us with small commissions from the companies that we work with, but you do support the small companies that we work with. And believe me, some of them are pretty small. Some of them are not small. So if you want to vote your dollars and cents, that's fine. Check it out, links down below. There's also Patreon. If you want to do monthly support, there's YouTube members if you prefer to do it on YouTube as well. Just so you know, the commissions, the fees are a little bit higher on YouTube, just so you know. A little bit. If you're curious about those sort of things, about double. And then also there's YouTube Super Thanks, same thing there, just one-time donations. And then PayPal, friends and family. And then also we have P.O. Box if you want to send us stuff. Or if you have questions, obviously leave in the comments below. When you do subscribe, click the bell for notifications so you know about new content that comes out, which is always happening. We're always working on the next big thing, obviously. But if you have other additional questions or concerns about this particular model, you can leave them down in the video description below, or excuse me, not the video description, but the comments, and we'll try to get back to you. These little things are fun. And at the end of the day, if they're fun and they work well, then it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win. All 6 channels. Did I do 6 times?
I don't know.
I don't know how many times I did. I wasn't counting fast enough. So guys, and if your manual looks like this, just remember, everybody has accidents from time to time.
See, they got Raptor on there.
If
you need a new Raptor in your life.
All right, we just read the Chinese one.
There you go. Perfect.
So, and by the way, there is a translate feature. If you have a Google device, or you can use Google on your smartphone, you can just type the word translate, and when the search populates, it's got a little icon with a picture of a camera. Click on that and you can literally translate this stuff. And so you can read it in English or whatever language your native language is, which is pretty cool. So check it out. Of course, we're not sponsored by Google, but that'd be awesome if they would. Google, if you're listening, let us know.
Oh, they're listening. They won't let us know though.
They don't want to work with us. They're like, yeah, not that guy. All right, so there you go. The H650, pretty cool. Thanks for stopping by here on Brian Phillips RC, and all of your RC needs will be met here. We're gonna help walk you from the chair into the air, okay? And then dump you out. All right, come back for more.